All right, let's jump right into this explainer and map out the definitive blueprint for turning your reactive, firefighting maintenance team into a well-oiled, future-proofed organization. Look, if you've ever felt like your department is just constantly running from one emergency to the next, no matter how many talented technicians you actually have on the floor, take a breath. You are in exactly the right place. Today, we're cutting straight through the theory to architect some true operational efficiency.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover escaping the firefighting trap, the 3 core structural models, 3 non-negotiable roles, 4 blocks of efficiency, and finally, sustaining your structure. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Escaping the firefighting trap. We're looking at exactly why your org chart is failing you on the factory floor.
Structure is the ultimate gatekeeper. It's literally what decides if your good intentions actually turn into planned work or if they just evaporate into frantic 2 a.m. firefighting. You see, the org chart itself is rarely the root issue. The real problem is when a planner reports to the exact same supervisor who dispatches emergency jobs, or when a storeroom isn't actually controlled by maintenance. That right there, that's where chaos breeds.
And guys, getting this right matters more than ever. Organizations that effectively track and structure their teams around maintenance KPIs are 3 times more likely to see massive improvements in decision-making. 3 times! That's a staggering advantage. Maintenance departments today are leaner, they're way more accountable for costs, and they are under microscopic scrutiny from operations. If your underlying structure doesn't support your data, you're honestly just flying blind.
Moving on to Section 2, 3 core structural models. Let's find your operational sweet spot. So every single day, maintenance managers face this brutal trade-off. Do you go centralized? You get shared resources and a single unified budget, which is amazing for standardization. But man, the floor response times can be painfully slow. Or do you go decentralized? Embedding text directly on the line gives you blazing fast response, sure, but you end up duplicating effort, standardizing absolutely nothing, and totally diluting your purchasing power.
Well, there is a sweet spot, and it's called hybrid maintenance. This is where most mid to large industrial sites successfully land after years of painful trial and error. A central group owns the high-level planning and reliability engineering, while dedicated area teams handle the day-to-day reactive and routine work. It beautifully captures the standardization of a central hub without sacrificing the quick reflexes of the factory floor.
Section 3. 3 non-negotiable roles. Time to build your protective shield. Listen, even if you are running a tiny 5-person department, these 3 distinct functions are absolutely non-negotiable: planning and scheduling, reliability engineering, and maintenance execution. Mashing these together is hands down the single most common structural failure I see in the industry. Execution does the physical work. Reliability analyzes the failures. Planning answers how and what. Blur these lines and chaos ensues. Here is the golden rule. Protect the planner's calendar. Whatever you do, do not collapse planning into execution. And the best part? You don't necessarily even need to hire a new person to fix this. You just need to build an impenetrable shield around your existing planner's calendar so they aren't dropping tomorrow's strategies just to go fight today's fires.
Section 4. 4 blocks of efficiency. These are the operational foundations for your success. 80%. If you are spending less than 80% of your time on planned work, your structure is actively failing you and you are trapped in an unsustainable firefighting mode. Hitting that 80% planned maintenance target, that is the ultimate sign of structural health and control. It proves your organization actually protects planned work from being hijacked by sudden reactive demands.
Our next building block is just simple math. Span of control. A supervisor should manage a maximum of 10 to 12 direct reports. Period. That's the limit. Push a supervisor past 12, and I don't care what your dashboard claims, essential things like quality checks, coaching, and critical safety oversight will immediately begin to slip through the cracks.
Next, we've got to separate 2 functions that are constantly getting confused: planning and scheduling. They're totally different. Planning answers the what, how, and with what parts. Scheduling answers the when and by whom. If you make it someone's full-time job to clear out all the friction from a technician's day before the wrench ever leaves the bag, your actual wrench time can legitimately soar up to 60%.
And the final operational block? Inventory. Because honestly, a perfectly planned work order is entirely useless if the bearing you need is out of stock when the tech shows up. Structurally, your maintenance team has to have direct visibility into spares and control over reorder points without having to beg a buyer in a totally different department.
Section 5. Sustaining your maintenance structure. Let's do some rapid-fire answers to your toughest hurdles.
Okay, let's tackle the real-world friction. Does a small maintenance team actually need a dedicated planner? We hear this one all the time. People wonder if a team of under 10 techs really needs this role or if it's just a luxury for massive mega plants.
The authoritative answer from the data is a resounding yes. Now, below 10 technicians, a full-time planner might be a bit impractical, but the planning function still needs rigidly protected calendar time each and every week. Skipping this is exactly how small teams trap themselves in a permanent, super stressful cycle of reactivity.
Next up, should planners report to the maintenance manager or to production? We have to look really closely at reporting lines here, because this is very often a massive political turf war out on the factory floor.
The answer is maintenance. Planners absolutely must report to maintenance leadership, never to production. If you hand them over to production, you completely destroy their protective shield. Production will always create constant pressure to abandon long-term planned work for whatever minor issue popped up just an hour ago.
Question 3. What's the very first structural change to make in a reactive department? If you're following along and just feeling totally overwhelmed right now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, what can I actually do tomorrow morning to stop the bleeding?
Here is your immediate day one action item. Explicitly separate planning from dispatch. Give just one person the absolute mandate to plan tomorrow's and next week's work and ruthlessly protect them from today's emergencies. Measure your schedule compliance starting week 1 and just build from there.
And listen, finally, none of this holds up without a solid system to enforce it. A globally proven CMMS platform, like ManWinWin, actually enforces the structure day to day instead of just letting it rot in a binder somewhere. A great CMMS strips away the massive administrative load, freeing your team up to actually execute those vital planning and reliability roles.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to take back to your plant. Take a really hard look at how work actually flows on your floor today and ask yourself, is your org chart driving real reliability or is it just decorative? Is your structure a protective shield for your planned work or is it literally just a pretty picture on the wall? Thanks for hanging out and diving into this explainer with me. Now take these blueprints, protect your planners, and go build an incredibly efficient maintenance department.